I felt financially free before I actually was. And that was by doing 5 small specific things that just made me feel free before my wealth caught up. And I'm gonna walk you through all 5. If we haven't met, I'm Sophia, I'm a doctor from Germany. And on this channel, we figure out how to build wealth without giving up the good life. And the first action I took that made me feel free was automating the monthly transfer. Now, for the longest time, I didn't have a real system with my money. I had some money invested. I was saving money, as in, not spending money recklessly. But it wasn't really systematic. But that changed when I automated everything. I automated my savings, I automated my investments, I even automated my fun account. We'll get to that later. And that was the biggest relief because I didn't have to think about this anymore. Do you know what I mean? So with automation, I did like 5 minutes of work and then I was free to forget about all of it. And then I could go back to doing nothing or, concentrating on other stuff while technology was taking care of building my wealth. Now, the second thing that made me feel free was the curve on the graph. And the curve I'm talking about is my net worth curve. And seeing this one grow definitely makes me feel free. Now, net worth is actually my favorite number in personal finance because it really shows you where you stand. And I started calculating my net worth relatively late in my journey. So the way I see it now, I missed out on a lot of potential during that time. But anyway, once I did, I'm actually using an Excel sheet for that. And it has a little graph at the end of it where I can see the curve grow, see my net worth grow. And that little visual not only motivates me to put more money towards my wealth, it also made me feel free because I saw that what I was doing was working and still see it to this day. And more importantly, that my wealth kept growing almost independently from my income, if that makes any sense. Now, of course, not completely because I'm still turning my income into wealth, which means I'm investing consistently. But it's just, there was this whole separate thing, my investment portfolio, that is separated from my job and it works in and of itself, growing my wealth. And that is just amazing. By the way, if you want to use my net worth tracker too, it's free. I'll link it down below. Now, the third action that I took that made me feel free was building a cash reserve. And this may sound a little cliche, but there was a time when I was still working at the hospital where I was really not happy. I felt trapped. And at that time, I only had a few months of a cash reserve, maybe like 3 months, and that didn't change anything in my emotional state. But once I had built a fully funded cash reserve, which for me was 12 months of expenses, that definitely made me feel free. Like I could walk away anytime. Now, the cash reserve does not really make you financially free. Financial freedom has a different definition, but I do like to call the cash reserve your level 1 freedom because it does make you free for at least a few months. And that just gives you plenty of time to adjust. Number 4 is the fun account. And I learned this from my first money coach, Bodo Schäfer. I was listening to one of his videos about account organization. And he said, you should have a fun account because maybe we don't live very long. So a part of your money goes to something that you enjoy. Now that's kind of intense, isn't it? But I'm telling you, I love the fun account because the bottom line of this is that we do want to prepare for the future, but at the same time, we want to live in the moment and enjoy the moment, right? So I set up a fun account and a part of my money goes there automatically. And from there, I splurge on things that are important to me. And that's already a nice transition to my next point, which is the good perfume on a Tuesday. Now, I do hope that your perfume doesn't look like mine. I think I had this for more than 2 years now and it's still full. Even though it's one of my favorite perfumes, actually, it's called Romance from Ralph Lauren. And it's not easy for me to find a scent that I can smell very long. But I'm also not much of a perfume guy, I guess. Also because perfumes have a lot of natural and also synthetic chemicals that are linked to hormone disruption and allergic reactions and whatnot. So that's why I usually go for all natural, non-toxic cosmetics, which is even more difficult with perfumes. But anyway, what I'm trying to say here is when you splurge on something, especially if it's, objects like cosmetics or clothes or accessories, do not let it sit idle. Use it every day. Wear your favorite perfume on a Tuesday. Wear your most expensive clothes every day. Or at least very often, I actually recently watched a YouTube video of a fashion influencer about her lessons learned of buying expensive stuff. I think her name is Chase Amy, something like that. And one of the things she said was that the most money you spend on should be for things that you use very often. So instead of buying $500 shoes to wear only once a year to a wedding, rather spend those $500 on a pair of shoes that you can use every day. And that's because that gives you a better cost per wear. Am I a fan of the cost per wear concept? I'm not sure yet, because it also would give you a way to justify any spending, you know, if you tell yourself that you'll use it every day. But more importantly, it makes you feel rich and abundant in everyday life, which is a very good thing for our money mindset. And of course, it also doesn't waste money on things you don't actually use. Now, of course, you can still go for the $500 shoes for the special occasion if you want. Just make sure to find the right balance and to really use them. Now, if you want to see more about where I'm not spending my money, even though I am not frugal, like at all, you can watch this video next. Feel free to subscribe, no pun intended. Wishing you success, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.